Welcome back everyone to the second 10-minute quarantine stretch routine. Let's start off by doing 3 sun salutations just to get warmed up and get everything moving. So stand up straight, pull your shoulders back and down, take a deep breath, and from there bring the arms up and look up. Then fold forward in the hips, place the hands wherever they go, straighten out the back. Place the hands, step or jump back and lower yourself down to lower plank. Coming up to upward facing dog, pulling the shoulders back and down and up to downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, you really press the chest down to the floor. And since this is the first sun salutation and we're not as warmed up yet, feel free to bend the knees and focus on getting a straight line from the hands to the hips. Your breath should be slow and deep, and if you find the right position, then you can start working on straightening out the knees and pulling the heels down. From there we walk forward or jump forward, straighten out the back, relax the spine, moving the head to the floor and coming up to a standing pose. Finally bringing the arms at your sides. Again, breathe in, bring the arms up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, straighten out the spine. Exhale, step back and go down. Up to upward facing dog, again pulling the shoulders back and coming up to downward facing dog. Make sure that the shoulders move away from the ears so you're not shrugging the shoulders, and the hands should be touching. All the fingers should be touching the floor. You should have a solid base. From there you can really push up and away from the floor. Now we'll be here for a couple of more seconds before we step forward again. And when we step forward, bend the knees and either jump or step. Immediately lengthening the spine and relaxing the spine afterwards, and then coming up. And we'll do one more. So take a deep breath, bring the arms up, fold in the hips, bring the arms down, relax the spine, straighten out the spine before placing the hands and moving the feet back to high plank, coming to low plank. Push up to upward facing dog, retract the shoulders and bring the hips up to downward facing dog. Readjust the feet if you need to and get into a comfortable but strong position. Focus on the line from the hands to the hips and focus on your breath. And stay here for about 10 seconds more. From there, bend the knees, step or jump forward, straighten the spine, relax the spine, bring the head to the mat, and bring the arms up and down again. From here we'll move into the standing postures. We'll do this via Vinyasa, which is very similar to the sun salutations, but will just be one breath in downward facing dog and then coming to an extended side angle pose. And I'll show you what that entails in a second. So when we come to downward facing dog, place the left foot at 45 degrees and step the right foot between the hands and point the left arm forward. There should be a straight line from the left foot to the left hand. And you want to rotate the chest upwards as far as you can. If it's easier for you to place the right hand on the inside of the right foot, that's also a way to do it. Coming out of the pose, you look down, place the hand, step the right foot back, bring yourself down to lower plank, push up to upward facing dog, come to downward facing dog, and from here we'll do the other side. So the right foot comes in 45 degrees angle, left foot goes forward, place the left hand, and the right hand comes over the top. Again, straight line from the heel to the hand, and rotate the chest open as much as you can, and make sure that the force of the rotation does not come from the shoulder but from the obliques. So those are the sideways abdominal muscles. Coming down from the pose, Both hands on the floor, step back, bring yourself down to lower plank, push up to upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Now, big lunge to the front, again, left foot goes diagonal, and to complete this pose, bring the hands in front of the heart in prayer position and move the left elbow over the right knee. Keep the hands in front of the chest. You should really feel the stretch in the lower and the upper part of the back. Now keep your balance for just a moment longer and we'll come down to high plank, stepping the foot back, down to lower plank. Again doing a vinyasa in upward facing dog, keeping the legs strong. Downward facing dog, and then placing the right foot diagonal, stepping the left to the front. Bringing the right elbow over the left knee, and keeping the hands in prayer positions in front of the chest. Keep enough pressure on the back foot to keep it down on the floor, and make sure the legs are engaged. Let's stay here for just a moment longer, and from there we'll come down to high plank and low plank, pushing up to upward facing dog, keeping the shoulders back and down, and the legs are active. Now we make our way to downward facing dog. Bring your right foot to the middle of the mat, straighten both legs, grab the elbows behind your back, and with the straight back, bend forward. You can see that my head is tilting forwards a little bit too much, but that's fine. No practice is perfect, and we're just working towards something that's beneficial for not only our body, but our minds as well. So we'll stay here for just a while longer. And this stretch, because it's on one side, should be a little bit uncomfortable. Now to switch positions, bring the torso up, rotate the right foot in and the left out. And you should be good to go for the other side. Now you can notice that you always have a better side. You might have noticed before with the twisting poses. And I find that my right leg is always more flexible than my left. And that's why it's nice to do these unilateral exercises, focusing on one limb individually. So coming up, rotating the left foot in and the right out, stepping forward to the front of the mat, bringing the arms up, bringing the arms down, bringing the crown of the head as far to the floor as possible before straightening out the spine, placing the hands and stepping back. Come to lower plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And now again, we're gonna come forward with the right leg, big lunge, left foot goes diagonal again, bring the arms up while the hips stay squared to the front of the mat. In this pose, make sure your shoulders are straight above the hips and the weight is evenly distributed between the legs. If you struggle with keeping balance, make sure you look at one fixed point. This is a good idea to do regardless. Coming out of the pose is straightening the right leg, rotating the right foot in and the left foot out. Make sure that the back leg is active and that the front knee is above the ankle. From here you open up the chest, rotating the shoulders backwards and down. And make sure you breathe deep and slow. From there you rotate the shoulders to the right and the hips to the right as well. We bring the arms parallel to the floor and make sure the shoulders are above the hips. And now with practice, of course, comes the feeling of being in the correct alignment. Let's stay here for just a moment longer. Before we straighten out the knee, rotate to the front of the mat, keeping the arms parallel to the floor. Bending the right knee towards right above the ankle. Now the back should not be arched but straight, and the core should be engaged as well. Bring your hands down to the mat. We're gonna come to high plank, low plank, doing our last vinyasa. Before we sit down, have a moment to breathe and lay back to our resting position. So final downward facing dog. Cross the legs. Place the hands on the knees and just focus on your breathing. It's really important to focus on the relaxation of your routine It's just as important as doing your stretching exercise. So from here I'll leave you to it. Thank you for watching and stay strong in the quarantine.